Hey there, geeks! I'm Kevin Andrew Rivera.
And I'm Raul Ceballos.
You're listening to Real Geek News,
a monthly podcast where we geek out about movies, TV, and streaming.
We got a month's worth of news to talk about, so without further ado,
let's get geeky.
So you got to go to Trader Joe's, right, Raul?
Is that I do have to go to Trader Joe's. let's speed this up. I got things to do. I've got errands to run, sir.
We got caught up hanging out, and we're like, oh man, we're adults and we have things to do after this. But hey, you know what? An eye for an eye, I guess. We spoiled something for Raul today, and we're gonna discuss it today.
Yeah. Nature of the beast, you know.
Now Before we jump in, though, I think we should point out again the whole WGA, Writers Guild of America strike, because there's like 2 or 3, maybe 4 news articles today that we're going to talk about that have to do with the writers' strike, and it's just how it's been affecting it. So for those of you who weren't paying attention to last month's episode, how dare you? There is a writer strike going on in Hollywood, which means no writers are writing anything for anything that's union related in the media. So that means Deadpool 3 is suffering. That means every Marvel movie you like is suffering. I specifically point out Deadpool 3 because it made me so mad. But
we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that. The Marvel movies, the DC movies, the any sci-fi thing that's coming out that you're super excited about. It's just been affecting a lot of movies, and so don't be surprised when we find out that some Writers Guild of America strike stuff is affecting our next topics of the day. But yeah. It's been good for you, though, right? So far, like, nothing's affected you specifically as a person, right, Raul?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm still getting, because, Kevin and I, as voice actors, obviously we're not writers, but you would think some of this might trickle down a little bit. But so far, I'm getting a lot of, for example, getting a lot of video games that kind of doesn't really, because Hollywood screenwriters aren't writing video games for the most part. Commercials are fine. And then a lot of the stuff I'm getting is just stuff that has already been written that's just ready to go.
And a fellow reminder again, Raul and I are both voice actors, so that's why I bring up that topic.
Yes. What about you?
Yeah, for me, it's just, I think it hasn't affected me just yet, but I'm sure it's going to, especially, something we're all going to talk about later today is there's a deadline for these writer strikes going on by the end of June. And so if that writer strike doesn't get resolved by then it's going to start affecting a lot more people in Hollywood. So, keep your eyes peeled, all you movie fans, just knowing that it's not going to affect us all. Like as movie fans, it won't affect us in the next couple of months, but it is going to affect us in the next year or two when we start finding movies that are not that well made, because during the time that they made these movies or they wrote these movies, there were no professional writers. And if there were, they were ghost writers, and they refused to give out their names because they don't want to be blacklisted.
Of course.
So, there's a lot of drama going on behind that stuff. But listen, we got time to talk about dead things, people dying and whatnot. But you know who kills people right now, Raul? Sort of, I guess. John Wick 5, Raul. That's a great segue.
John Wick 5 kills people.
He does. John Wick 5, all of John Wick 5 people. He only kills 5 people. Every movie he kills an extra person, and that's why it becomes the next number.
I seem to remember he killed a lot more people than just one
in his
through
mind.
5.
5 people that mattered. That's
okay. Of the people that mattered. I see.
Yeah. No, people don't usually matter. That's awful. But listen, everybody, we got the John Wick 5 being confirmed. This comes to us from Entertainment Weekly. We're thinking John Wick will be back again. Very incredible opening sentence for Entertainment Weekly.
That's a great Keanu.
Oh, I think I'm coming back. No, that's not how he says it. Dang it. So Lionsgate executive. No, I'm not going to read it as Keanu.
Keep going.
Lionsgate executive Joe Drake has confirmed that the company is developing a 5th John Wick movie in addition to the Ana de Armas spinoff with Ballerina, which is set for release next year, and the TV show The Continental, which will premiere later in 2023. Drake, who is chairman of the motion picture group at Lionsgate, made the announcement on Thursday during the company's fiscal fourth quarter conference call. When asked about plans for a fifth John Wick movie, Drake responded, "What is official is Ballerina is the first spin-off. It comes out next year. We're in development on three others, including John Wick 5 and including a television series, The Continental, which will be airing soon. And so we're building out the world. And when that fifth movie comes out, it will be organically grown out of how we're starting to tell those stories. But you can rely on a regular cadence of John Wick." So there's going to be a lot of John Wick stuff coming out. And I guess it sounds like they're like MCUing it, Raul. Like
it's the Wickverse, man.
It's the Wickverse.
It's the Wickverse.
That's totally it. I mean, they're
Wickiverse.
Where?
Maybe just Wickverse.
It's like the cool version. It's the Wick.
They're really building this out. Yeah, we got the Continental, we got the Ballerina, now we know there's more John Wick coming. They're really kind of expanding this.
But then there's the conversation that everybody has to have, which, again, this has been the spoiler I had to give Raul today.
Well, we're giving the spoiler to everybody also, because...
But you know what? This movie came out a month and a half ago. You guys should have seen it by now. Everybody should know. This is a given.
And in case you're not understanding what Kevin is talking about, I still have yet to see John Wick. It has not been something I've been able to get around to doing. And you know what? If I'm going to be on a podcast where we talk about movies, I should be trying to keep up as much as possible with this stuff. So I own that. So yes, I have been spoiled in order for us to continue with the conversation that we're about to have today.
And now you shall all be spoiled.
Right. This is my penance. This is my penance for not getting around to it quick enough. So I'm going to watch it at some point.
Well, listen, if you don't want to hear this spoiler, and for some reason you haven't seen this movie, what is wrong with you, Raul? Skip the next 5 minutes, and you will not hear any more spoilers. So there you go. That's how we solved that problem. But here it comes. Spoiler in 3, 2, 1. John Wick is dead in John Wick 4. So sad. So sad. Well, like, how the heck are they going to set up a John Wick 5 if John Wick is dead? You know?
Is there, okay, based on, because you have seen the film, I have not, but based on the movie, is there anything else that could be carried over from this movie into the next one?
Well, let me give you another spoiler, Raul.
Yeah, lay it on me. This is my penance. I own this. This is my fault.
So
basically, I did this to myself.
At the end of the fourth movie, you know, when he survives whatever he's surviving, he sits on a set of stairs next to a church and is you know, just thinking about his wife and stuff like that. And then he kind of rests his head down on the ground on the stairs. And then he closes his eyes. And when you see the cameras open up again, we see the tombstone of John Wick next to his wife. And it's like this lovely thing, right? And you see Lawrence Fishburne is standing there looking at the tombstone. And they say a few things to each other in the movie. I'm blanking out on what they said, but I remember thinking to myself that they're being very vague about whether or not, you know, John Wick is actually dead or not.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
So, like, you know, there is that chance that, you know, Lawrence Fishburne, like, they're showing us what they want us to think. Because, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because they want us to believe he's dead, but really, in reality, John Wick survived and disappeared, quote unquote, from the world, and he's dead, quote unquote. So no one can follow him anymore, just to make sure.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
But that's the thing, right? Is like this movie made so much money that of course Lionsgate's gonna be like, we gotta make more of these.
Yeah, no. And also the type of stories that these films lend themselves to. I mean, you're dealing with a world of assassins and these crazy things going on. You're dealing with a world where it's totally plausible for people to go into hiding and seemingly maybe fake their death only to come back later on. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is just that kind of, you know, the seedy underbelly of assassins and stuff. You know, I feel like that probably happens all the time.
Now, that all being said, Raul, you do still need to watch John Wick 4, because it is a beautiful, beautiful movie.
Yeah,
It's like
I know.
2 hours and 45 minutes of incredible action.
I really want to see it. Other things have just taken me away from it, but yes, I really do want to see it. So yeah,
There's still,
I think,
even though I spoiled the ending, there's still a lot to look forward to.
sure, of course.
You don't know
of
what
course.
happens to the other characters.
Of course, yeah,
someone
no.
Could die, someone could.
But that's it. But I almost wonder, like, if they know that by openly talking about in interviews, talking about a John Wick 5, they have to know that's going to get people talking, like we are right now, like many people are right now, and so if you were really keen on trying to keep it vague whether or not John Wick survives or not, you would probably be a little more careful about announcing a John Wick 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think so. Let me ask you this. Raul, would you be interested in seeing an Ana de Armas spin-off movie, Ballerina?
I would. Yeah, I would. I think I'd like to see where this goes as far as expanding the Wickverse. We're calling it the Wickverse now.
The only thing I can think of is like the whole 007 movie, the last one that came out with Daniel Craig. I think she was a spy in that movie, and her action sequences were incredible.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Awesome.
She did a great job.
Not only that, but she also just did a movie with Chris Evans where she's like a secret spy that totally ghosted Chris Evans.
Yeah, was that good? That was on Apple.
I haven't seen it, but
Apple Plus, right?
Yeah, I just feel like the whole point of that movie was to show off that Ana de Armas she still got it. Like she can do action stuff for longer periods of time than just that one sequence that she was in during 007.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they're gonna do a ballerina movie with her, okay, cool. I'm looking forward to it because I'm sure they're gonna have the same writers and the same team that works on the John Wick films. But now that they're expanding it, I don't know what to expect from the Continental because I think it happens in the past.
It's a prequel. I believe it takes place in the 70s.
Okay, well then here's my idea.
What's your idea, Kevin?
I think they should do, like after they do the Continental and do the 70s thing, after that storyline is over, they should do an open world video game of John Wick on like the PlayStation 5 or something like that. And it's the continuation of him being like how he started to become the boogeyman and like did his whole thing.
So it's a prequel game.
Yeah, they could do a trilogy of games just off of that, man. That'd be incredible. Put in the same fight sequence as like the Batman mechanics. Man, you got an incredible game right there. I would play that in a heartbeat.
They should call it John Wick: The Legend of Baba Yaga.
Oh, I mean, dude, I'm sold. I'm definitely sold. That man is a killer machine. But you know what else is a killer machine, Raul?
What, Kevin? What?
James Cameron's Terminators, bro. That's right. Oh yeah. Boom, boom, boom. I once hummed that when I was just randomly waiting at a Walmart, and somebody turned around at the register and was like, "Is that Terminator?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, cool." Like, you never know where you're gonna meet some cool Terminator fans, my dude. But anyways, here's our topic here, number 2. We got James Cameron writing a new Terminator movie. This comes to us from Screen Rant. Schwarzenegger's Terminator director, Cameron, is not done with the series, and in fact has been working on another Terminator sequel, as he just confirmed. But according to Cameron, there's one big obstacle that's gotten in the way of his continuing work on Terminator 7. 7? Can you believe it's already 7? That's so many movies. Speaking to the crowd at a Dell Tech World Conference via at RCM Mercado, the filmmaker said he started writing a new Terminator 3 months ago, but paused because he wants to see how things develop with real-world AI before he goes any further. If I were to do another Terminator film and maybe try and launch that franchise again, I would make it much more about the AI side of it than bad robots gone crazy. Even in the few months since Cameron made those remarks, developments in AI have accelerated to the point where now, even the daring director of the Terminator and Avatar films has had to put a pause on his writing process in order to catch up. Given that AI advancement seemingly won't be slowing down anytime soon, it's fair to wonder if Cameron ever can catch up to the point where whatever Terminator 7 script he writes won't be doomed to almost instant obsolescence. It won't be obsolete. It will be obsolete. Indeed, all sci-fi writers of 2023 face the same problem. Technology is going so fast that even the most imaginative minds are struggling to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah.
This new reality is indeed more frightening than any bad robot gone wrong.
Ooh.
That was bad. Raul, what do you think about all this, man?
Well, I had two thoughts. The first thought, before you started reading the article, was like, James, come on, man. Aren't you busy with like 12 Avatar movies right now? Like, where are you gonna find the time to work on another Terminator? Number one. Number two, this franchise has just been run into the ground, man. I mean, the Dark Fate. Did you see Terminator Dark Fate?
I did. I'm going hunting. Dude,
No,
that trailer drove me insane.
It has lost its way. I mean,
yeah.
Terminator 2, in my opinion, was the last good one. Everything else they've tried so hard to, again and again, they've tried to reinvigorate this franchise and bring in new directors. And James Cameron has always stayed on as producer, but they just haven't been able to get it right. And I don't know. I think we're done with Terminator. As much as I hate to say it, because I love the first two Terminator films, I just don't think at this point, how many times have they tried to do a Terminator sequel and have it not work out so well?
Yeah.
I mean, after a certain period of time, you just gotta, I don't know, cut your losses.
Well, the problem is James Cameron. Like when he's not at the helm of something like that, that's
Right.
why it fails. You know, you can't take someone's IP like that and try to say, "Oh, I can do something based off of this masterpiece of a works person's job." Blah blah blah.
But yet he endorses it by putting his name on it as a producer. You know what I mean? So he's still, it's not direct involvement, but it's like you're putting your name out there, man. You're putting your name on this stuff. And it's not good. And so I guess maybe it makes sense that that's why he's like, you know what, he like pulled a Thanos and was like, you know what, fine, I'll do it myself. So he's writing a Terminator movie. So let me back up. So I was saying all that, like, where is he going to find the time? This franchise has run itself into the ground. However, this AI angle, this is different. This is something new. This is something that, like the article's saying, it's not bad robots anymore. This is real stuff that we're kind of dealing with right now about AI. And you want to get me talking and getting all paranoid and stuff like that. You bring up AI to me right now, and it's got me freaked out. It's got a lot of creatives freaked out right now. Writers, artists, voice actors. I mean, it's got a lot of people freaked out right now. It's one of these things that is so unknown right now and is developing so exponentially fast. Yeah, even James Cameron has to stop writing to kind of understand, like, okay, is this accurate, what I'm writing about? Because it could very well be obsolete the next day after he's finished writing it. But I will say that is an interesting angle and something that maybe could be fresh and new. I mean, honestly, I feel like, well, then don't call it Terminator. This sounds like something else.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm rambling, but that's how I feel about all this.
No, I agree. I agree with everything you just said. It is a scary time. I think artists, especially for us, it's scary because we think AI can take all our jobs and makes us feel like maybe our work might be obsolete, which, you know, there's ways to combat that, I think. But like lifestyle wise for everybody else that isn't a creative artist, it is very scary to put your trust in something like that and hope that AI will never turn on us. So that, I mean, that's a cool perspective though. Like in a way, like it's weird. Like I still feel like I can't see a different movie of Terminator based on AI because I just assume like the Terminators just feel like AI themselves already. They already do most of the things that we expect AI to do. I guess the difference is that Terminator, they didn't really reach into the plot line of Skynet as a living thing.
Right.
They went more into
about,
Skynet creating the robots that came out to attack John Connor.
It was more about the robots.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see, I guess, that point of view, but I don't know. I don't know if it'd be that different. I'm not sure if it would be that different. Maybe they'd take your bank account information and stuff like that. I don't know.
I can see the AI, especially now with us having a better understanding now what AI is. Well, like now, better now than years ago when Cameron was writing the original films.
Mm.
AI was just this concept that was just out there, and nobody really had a handle on it. Now we're actually seeing AI come to fruition right now. It's just fascinating. So I don't know, I'm kind of torn if I want to see this movie or not.
Let me ask you this other question, Raul. So he stopped writing recently because he claims that it's because he needed to watch to see how AI works. Do you think there's a chance that James Cameron might not be working on these movies or this script because of the Writers Guild of America as well? How does that work for someone who is at the helm of something like that? Are you allowed to write stuff still as the head honcho of your own projects if you're the producer? Or are you still part of the Writers Guild if you're part of that headspace? Like, how does that work?
If you are part of the Writers Guild, I mean, point blank, you cannot write.
Because it connects me to like the James Gunn situation. Like James Gunn wrote his own Superman scripts. He's done technically with the script, but he can't edit the script anymore. But he's also the CEO of DC Comics right now for DC Studios. So like, is there like a thing where he's like, well, this is my movie and I need it to succeed because this is a big deal. Should I just write anyways? Or what do I do?
Well, I mean, James Gunn has a lot of friends who are also writers, and he knows a lot of people, friends and contemporaries that are also writers. And I'm sure somebody like James Gunn would not want to endanger relationships with other creatives and peers of his if he just continued writing anyway, because that's the thing he would be doing. He would be endangering, he would essentially, in the eyes of the other writers, he would essentially be crossing the picket line. But then from the perspective of him being the head of DC, he would be ruining potential relationships any other writers could possibly have with DC going forward. And it's really interesting. James Gunn is in a very unprecedented situation right now that I don't think anybody else finds themselves in right now.
Yeah. And I guess James Cameron isn't technically in that same exact position. Like, he's more like,
he's not a studio head.
Yeah, it's just a project for in the future. Like, I'm not getting paid to write this right now. I'm just working on it for shiggles, like it's just my own hobby kind of thing. Okay, well, if that's what you're going to do, then do your thing.
Yeah, I'm actually, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I think, I don't know. I'd like to think that even though writers are striking, and I don't know, I could be wrong, but at least to get the creative juices out there, maybe they're writing for themselves, know, and not necessarily for a studio. Maybe they're writing for themselves because, it's really hard as a creative, maybe you're striking, but you still get the creative itch. So maybe it's like, okay, well, let me write this down. It's for later. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's probably it then.
You get ideas, things come into your head. And I think that's what's happening with I was going to say James Gunn, with James Cameron right now. It seems like he's just getting ideas right now. And he's just talking about it. And it doesn't seem like there's anything solidified with getting, getting a studio behind it or getting a director or anything. He's just in the writing phase right now, but he's not writing for anyone except himself, it sounds like.
Yeah. And also, the guy's got like the top 3 or 4 movies are like the top highest grossing films of all time. I think he's got time to write as much as he wants for as long as he wants. So, the day he comes back and knocks on the door, every company's going to open up and say, yeah, give us the script that took you 12 years. Give it to us, please. We want it. Like, it's going to make billions, I say.
Yeah, I just don't know because he's still doing like, what, 3 other Avatar movies?
Yeah, that's true.
Avatar is going to like consume the rest of his life. I don't know how he's going to find
He'll probably get
time.
Some producers, he'll produce it and give it to someone else once he's written it, is what I think he'd probably do if he wants to keep on working on the Avatar movies.
Sure.
But you know what? Speaking of more writers, we got Avengers Kang Dynasty removes Quantum Mania writer, which... Listen, before I even read this, I'm already going to tell you, this makes me so happy. So, let's dive into this. This comes to us from Coming Soon. According to industry insider Jeff Snyder on the Hot Mic podcast, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania writer Jeff Loveness is no longer writing Avengers the Kang Dynasty. In the most recent episode of the podcast, Snyder revealed, according to his sources, Loveness is off of the upcoming Avengers film, and that the decision was made prior to when the Writers Guild of America strike began earlier this month. This is unconfirmed, Snyder asserted. My source is saying that Jeff Loveness is off of Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, and that he fell off before the strike. Snyder was then asked if Marvel is restarting the Phase 6 film with a new writer. He confirmed that this is true and that it sounds like the studio is going in another direction. Yes, that is exactly what it means, he stated. Jeff Loveness deserved or not got a lot of criticism. Oh, wait, hold on, let me reread this. Jeff Loveness, deserved or not, got a lot of criticism for his scripts, and yes, it sounds like they are going in another direction from what my sources say. Avengers: The Kang Dynasty will be directed by Shang-Chi filmmaker Destin Daniel Cretton, who's also currently working with Marvel Studios on its live-action series adaptation of Wonder Man. Yeah, so let me just say, we've watched Quantumania, and we listen. I thought it was like a C-list kind of film, in my opinion. I enjoyed it for what it was, but if you ask me if I want to watch it again, the answer is not really. I'm not really interested in watching a lot of Peyton Reed movies for Marvel. Like, it's kind of sad because I feel like he's not being given everything that he needs in order to make these movies. And that, I'm not going to put the blame on Peyton Reed. I'm just saying, like, listen, there's a lot of superheroes, and when they try to put out all the budgets for all these projects, I'm pretty sure Peyton Reed usually gets like the lower end of the stick, which is not the greatest. I think this Quantumania was their movie that they were trying to make it into like, this is your chance, Peyton. Is it though? Because then you got Jeff Loveness as the writer, and it's just, the writing wasn't good, in my opinion. I don't know. Raul, what do you think of this?
Well, I mean, if you guys heard our Quantumania review, you will know that I thought it was fun. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I just came down in the middle. I thought it was a fun time. But yeah, the writing isn't stellar. It's not, so, I mean, I'm not surprised. And I will admit, I was a little nervous, but really this is the guy they're getting to do Kang Dynasty? Like, to be fair, this also is the same guy who wrote Loki. So, I mean, and I really enjoyed Loki. I know not everybody did, but I really enjoyed it. So it did get me a little excited from that, taking that into account. But yeah, after seeing Quantumania, I'm like, I don't know if this type of writing is Avengers Kang Dynasty type of, the writing we need. I think this is very interesting though. Him leaving, how much of it does, now we know this was before the writer's strike, but how much of it was, they're saying they're going in a different direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much of it was, okay, we're going in a different direction because we don't like what you did with Quantumania. I'm just oversimplifying that. But for the sake of argument, let's say it's that. Or how much of it is, well, we might be rethinking this whole Kang thing. So in that sense, we're going in a different direction. And we may find out something else later on down the line. I don't know anything for sure. I'm just spitballing that maybe, just maybe, we won't be seeing Jonathan Majors anymore as Kang.
I agree.
And the Kang Dynasty is, if that's the case, then yeah, there's going to have to be a lot of big changes happening with Kang Dynasty, including getting a new writer, starting from scratch, making it a different movie. That's what I'm suspecting. Right. So it seems like, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but to me, it seems like there's probably a little more under the surface of this announcement than we see.
I know how to solve it.
Kevin?
Here's what you do. Kang Dynasty, the next time they make, like, they do a Comic-Con kind of thing, Jonathan Majors, I think, is just going to be done. And I think Kang will no longer be the main focus. And I don't think this will be called Avengers Kang Dynasty anymore. I think they're going to change it. And I think they're going to change it to Avengers, The Rise of Doctor Doom. Boom! Mic drop. Doctor Doom enters the group chat. And it turns out that all this stuff we thought was about Kang, it was actually all being puppeted by Doctor Doom himself, who was the ancestor of Kang. and knew what he had to do in order for Kang to fall right into his own trap so that Kang could give the power to Dr. Doom, and Dr. Doom begins the Secret Wars.
Well, you know what? I mean, I know you're just theorizing, but that doesn't sound too far-fetched because Dr. Doom has plays a big part in Secret Wars.
Yeah, man.
In the comics. So it would make a lot of sense if you can rework it so that Dr. Doom is involved. And if you're going to introduce Doom, now is as good a time as any. I mean, Fantastic Four's coming out.
I wouldn't be surprised if, like, you know, Jeff Loveness is just gonna be gone because now they don't need the Rick and Morty vibe anymore. Like they need that to be gone because they do need to pivot and now look towards a new bad guy. It only makes sense. It makes sense for them to go in that direction, and I'm okay with that because who doesn't like Dr. Doom, man? Like, I mean, it's just. Maybe it's not the fact that Loveness was a bad writer, you know, maybe because he knew what he was talking about. He loved the Kang Dynasty stuff. Like, he loves Kang, he loves multiverse. He writes it all the time. Of course, he would have an idea of how to write that kind of stuff. But, like, maybe now that it's not really going to be about that anymore, it's going to start to be more about Dr. Doom.
Right.
You just don't need that type of writing anymore. You need something else that works better with Dr. Doom. I'm speculating here. It's Dr. Doom, but
how cool. I mean, if that is what they end up doing, that would make sense, you know, based on everything that we know is coming. And it makes sense, you know, from a comic book accuracy perspective, it makes sense to have Dr. Doom play a bigger role in all this leading up to Secret Wars.
Agreed. Yeah, totally. So I don't know, Jeff Loveness. Hey, man, listen, no hard feelings if you're listening to this podcast. I know how big we are. You know, you're listening to us, and we're listening to you, my friend.
We are on the front lines of movie podcast punditry.
We're a pretty big deal. So, you know, no hard feelings. We love you, Jeff Loveness, but go back to Rick and Morty. It'll be fun. It'll be good. But listen, we still got more Marvel stuff to talk about here. So we also, not only did we have Jeff Loveness leaving, but we also got a first look at Kevin. We got to look at me. I'm Kevin Feige. Thank you. I approve this message. No, we got a first look at Captain America's new suit in New World Order. So this comes to us from Yahoo. As filming continues to the highly anticipated latest entry in the Captain America franchise, set photos of star Anthony Mackie in a new Captain America suit made their way online. The new suit looks to be completely unlike the one he wore in Disney Plus series The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which we saw was mostly white with blue and red accents.
There you go.
I'm calling out Yahoo's writer right now because that was on them.
What a Yahoo, am I right?
What a Yahoo, am I right?
I'm sorry. That's a Kevin joke. I shouldn't do that.
It was beautiful, and I appreciate it.
This suit! I stooped to your level.
Yes, please, keep stooping, This suit is more in line with the suit that Chris Evans wore in the Captain America films and features a mostly blue outfit with a gold star and wings in the middle and red highlights on the shoulder. Captain America New World Order will be directed by Julius Ona, from a screenplay writer by the Falcon and the Winter Soldier head writer Malcolm Spellman and Dallin Moosin. The film features Mackie reprising his role as Sam Wilson, who has now officially taken on the mantle of the MCU's new Captain America. Mackie will be joined by returning Falcon and the Winter Soldier stars Danny Ramirez and Carl Lumbly, who are once again playing the roles of Joaquin Torres and Isaiah Bradley, respectively, as well as MCU newcomer Shira Haas as Sabra. Sabra?
Sure.
That one.
Sabra.
Sabra. You guys read it out yourselves. Good.
Like the brand of hummus?
Yeah.
Sabra?
It's magically delicious. No, that's Lucky Charms. But no, so if now Raul and I, if we scroll down, we can see a picture here of Anthony Mackie, the one I just described.
Cool.
Sorry for all you listeners, you won't be able to see it, but I recommend you Google it. Go on Google and
it's out there.
Or go on Yahoo, I guess. Yahoo the pictures. Yeah, it's on there somewhere. But yeah, no, the article's right. It looks like a Captain America Winter Soldier costume with a little tint of red for like the Falcon kind of vibe. Yeah, and it's got the golden star on it. Raul, what do you think about this design so far?
I think it looks cool. I think it looks like another cool hot toy that's going to be coming out.
Oh yeah, that's so true.
I'm not a hot toy collector, but I just, I could easily see this being another version of Falcon you can own. It looks really neat. I like the gold. I'm not one of these people who, when I see like set photos of the new suit. Oh, look. I mean, I think it looks cool, but I can take no further information from it. Very rarely do set photos like this give us any more indication. Sometimes they can, but from this set photo, all I'm gleaning from this is like, cool, it's a new suit, looks great. I like it, like the gold.
Yeah, like I it's weird. Like usually when I see these posts come up, I see a lot of people complaining about it, but I haven't heard anything negative about this costume design so far. So, I mean, hey, it looks good. Looks like Winter Soldier out to me. It's a hybrid, you know?
They're all, I feel like at this point, all the Captain America suits are kind of all dancing around the same kind of basic conceptual design.
Yeah.
And they kind of, with each, with each project that comes along, be it a show or a movie, they just tweak things here, tweak things there. And, but it seems like that star with the wings coming out on the chest, that's been there since Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that's true.
The star with the wings.
So now we just get it physically on a person as well. Because now he flies.
Oh, well, yeah. I know, yeah. Well, yeah, but some of these little aspects of the suit have stayed consistent, which is cool. And I like that. That's a nice touch. Gold. It's different.
Yeah.
That is something we have yet to see on a Captain America suit. But I am curious, where is his white one? What, are we not going to see it at all? Is that going to be just like, you saw it for a little bit at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and bye-bye, that's it.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit of it in the next movie. But then eventually they graduate to this one.
Yeah, it always happens. They have the suit, the new suit, quote unquote, that we saw from the previous thing. They have it at the beginning of the new thing, and then in the course of the new thing, they get the new suit.
Yeah, because also the original suit, it's comic book accurate. Like it looks exactly like in the comics.
You mean the white one?
The white one, yeah.
That's why I was like, I hope I get to see that again, because that's the comic accurate Sam Wilson Captain America suit.
Yeah, I mean, but also here, I guess the only thing I can think of is other than plot wise, why they have to change it, like technically wise, or I've seen conversations with him, the actor who plays Anthony Mackie, who plays Captain America. He's talked about how like the white suit has like this rubbery piece on the back of his head that really irritates him because it's just this awkward thing that pops out. They have to CGI it during the filming. So it's maybe that's just another part of it, that it was a convenience kind of thing for him.
It's the same situation with like, the older Batman films, Michael Keaton and Val Kilmer and George Clooney. They couldn't turn just their neck. They had to turn their whole upper torso.
Yeah.
And so you get what's known as the Batman turn.
And it probably would have cost more money to CGI the neck piece so that he could turn more easily than, to just make him a new suit that they could sell hot toys for,
Sure. That makes sense. I mean, you could absolutely be right about that.
I just realized I'm also wearing an MCU shirt right now. And I was like, oh man, I am a nerd. This is awesome.
I am wearing.
And you got an I'm not Darth Vader.
I'm not.
Jolly. Oh,
this is a Christmas time shirt that I'm wearing in the summer.
What are you doing?
I don't know, man. It's laundry day.
Hey, man, Christmas, that's a delayed shirt to wear. You know what else is delayed, though, Raul?
Sorry.
You ruined my segue.
I realize you're doing a segue, but I was going to say, or is it early? But never mind. Do your segue.
It's delayed because we need it to be delayed for my segue.
Why is it delayed?
Because just like this is delayed, Blade is delayed as well.
There it is. There it is.
That was so bad. All right. Well, we got Blade.
Blade delayed again.
This comes to us from Variety. Due to the ongoing writer's strike, Marvel has shut down pre-production on the superhero reboot, which is set to star Mahershala Ali as the titular vampire hunter alongside Aaron Pierre, Delroy Lindo, and Mia Goth. Production was expected to start in Atlanta within the month for an anticipated September 6, 2024 release. Marvel Studios first announced it was reviving Blade after Wesley Snipes originated the character on screen in a feature film trilogy from 1998 to 2004. Also, let me just unquote for a second. I am so young because I thought this movie came out in the 80s. I thought this was an 80s thing, but it's a 98 movie.
98, man.
And I don't remember watching Blade. I think I must have, but I can't remember watching. I definitely didn't watch the second or third one, that's for sure. But
second
I know
one's
the third
good.
one.
Second one good. The third one is not good. That is not. The second one is. I really like the second one.
But you know that Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool has to make a Trinity joke because, you know, he's going to be like, yeah, been there, done that vampire stuff. It's not my style. Anyways, you know.
Yeah.
Wade Wilson it up. Anyways.
Well, that line would have to be already written in the script. Not something he has to improvise.
For the future. You know.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyways, quoting back into this article, it says, at San Diego Comic-Con in 2019, Blade will rise again once the strike has concluded, though that timing may be further complicated by looming labor talks with SAG-AFTRA and the DGA this summer. Pre-production on another 2024 Marvel release, Thunderbolts, has not been affected by the strike, and the studio has several other projects in various stages of production, including 2024 features Captain America New World Order and Deadpool 3, and upcoming Disney Plus series Agatha Coven of Chaos, Daredevil Born Again, and Wonder Man. Dude, look at all those freaking Marvel projects that are being affected by this. That's insane.
Yeah.
Insane. So, yeah, I mean, listen. This is what, the third or fourth time that Blade has been delayed?
I feel so bad, but I just can't, you can't help but laugh. I'm sorry. I feel bad for everybody involved with this project because this has got to be no doubt very frustrating. I feel bad for Mahershala Ali, but at this point, this just feels like a meme.
Yeah.
That Blade is getting delayed again. I swear to God, this is going to turn into a meme.
Oh my God. I need to look up how old Mahershala Ali is.
Oh my God. All these poor people who were working on this thing.
Mahershala Ali is 49 years old right now.
Yeah, man.
This movie will come out when he's in his 50s.
Dude,
he's going to begin being Blade when he's 50.
He's going to leave the project. He's going to leave Blade, I'm telling you, man. I don't know anything for sure. I don't know. I'm just saying,
man.
If I were Mahershala Ali, by now I'd be like, you know what? Screw this, man.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I'm done. And also, if I was Mahershala Ali, I would also be looking at the whole Jonathan Majors situation and being like, this is what I want to throw myself into right now? Like, really? Is that really what's going on? Like, Marvel better have some good plans now that they're getting rid of, Jeff Loveness and stuff like that because they're trying to pivot into a new direction. Like, it better be a compelling pivot for Mahershala Ali for him to stay, man, because I don't know. If I was in my 50s and I was just starting out to be this action hero vampire slayer, like, that sounds like a lot, man.
Especially with these franchises, they're gonna want you to stick around for at least 5 to 10 years. I mean, these are long-term kind of deals. I mean, they don't sign long-term contracts anymore because Marvel has now since learned their lesson after having to pay the original Avengers cast so much money.
Yeah.
Now they do their contracts differently, but ideally they're trying to keep these actors for quite a long time, as long as they can afford it.
Yeah.
So, God, this is it's a mess, man.
Have you also heard Elizabeth Olsen, who plays Wanda? In interviews, she's been saying like her advice to new up and coming Marvel actors is to only sign one contract at a time. Like, she's told them, like, don't do 6 movies, like, just do one. That way you have more power when your movie makes so much money, and if it doesn't, then it's no pressure off on you because you're good to go.
You have no more ties. You can just cut
to the
ties.
next movie. Yeah. So
it's a very smart advice.
Like, I know Disney's already decided to do that with Marvel Studios and their actors, but like the fact that she herself is telling people that as well, that's incredible. That's kind of crazy. And she has so much power now because she's I dare say now she is the most popular character right now in the MCU, because WandaVision blew her up. It was insane. But yeah, no, like let's talk about Deadpool 3 as well, because I mean, dude, the writing for Deadpool 3 can't happen right now. They're already shooting Deadpool 3 as we speak.
Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds cannot improvise because he is a writer for the WGA.
This
So
is a
he's on
very
strike.
let's just because that's very important there. So let's really break this down. So Ryan Reynolds, obviously he's an actor, so he's a member of the Screen Actors Guild. Their Deadpool is filming right now. They're in production. And Ryan Reynolds is very well known for improvising in almost all his movies, but specifically really improvising for Deadpool. And a lot of the best lines in Deadpool, a lot of the funniest jokes come from Ryan Reynolds just improvising stuff. And it's one of the things that we've grown to really love about what Ryan Reynolds has been able to contribute to Deadpool. It makes Deadpool very unique, what Ryan Reynolds is able to bring. Now, here's where it gets complicated. Ryan Reynolds is also a member of the Writers Guild of America, the WGA, which, if anybody's been paying attention, they're kind of on strike right now. So writers cannot work. And since Ryan Reynolds is a member of the WGA, even though the script for Deadpool is already written, we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about that there. They're in production right now. Okay, great. But he cannot improvise his lines because that would technically be writing. He can't improvise his lines. So it makes me so nervous because here you got Deadpool 3 in production and Ryan Reynolds cannot do improv, which is what makes the magic of what Deadpool is.
But other actors can improv around him. He just can't improvise.
Other actors who are not part of the WGA, yes.
How much you want to bet, though, that when the movie comes out and we see all these funny jokes, we go, "Wait, was that improvised?" And they go, "No, it was all written on the script. Yep, that's what it was." It's like, no, it wasn't. You improvised. You're just claiming.
We wrote the joke. We wrote that Betty White joke that way. That's exactly how.
Exactly how I planned it. Yeah, that's exactly how it was meant to be. Like, you could easily do that, technically. I mean, this is the other thing. It brings me back to the James Cameron stuff and James Gunn, where it's like, this is another project where the writing really matters, and it's very tricky because you don't want to. You're bringing Deadpool into the MCU for the first time, and you really got to bring your A game if you want to make it work. Yeah. And so the fact that this is like a hiccup that they have to go through is kind of insane. So
it's crazy.
I don't know. We're lucky for Blade because at least Blade doesn't have to worry about, they already wrote the script and now they have to try to add new scenes. They can't add new scenes now because the strike started. No, they're like, let's just push it back even more. Yeah. Let's see how long Mahershala Ali can hold out before he's like,
well, that's the thing. That's what they have to worry about. The one thing they have to worry about is, can we still keep Mahershala Ali on as Blade? Where is his patience? Where is his patience at right now? Where at what point does he reach his limit? So yeah, all this stuff, Blade, Deadpool, again, the common thread here is the writer's strike, which we have been and will be talking about still in this episode because it is affecting a lot of, we're a podcast about movies and TV shows. We can't not talk about this stuff. And as you've seen, a lot of the articles we're currently talking about have to do with the writer's strike affecting all these things. So it's really crazy. I mean, and here we are looking at SAG, the Screen Actors Guild, and even the Directors Guild potentially going on strike at some point too. So Kevin and I, we're waiting with bated breath to see if we end up going on strike. And if we end up going on strike, then we can't work either.
Guys, let's just solve the problem already.
And of course, I'm all for standing in solidarity with that stuff, but it is something that we clearly are starting to see affect the movie industry right now. So it's affecting all these movies. It's affecting Marvel, all these Marvel projects. What else did you say there, Kevin? What was the other list of projects that Marvel?
Like Marvel, DC, sci-fi in general, any comedies that are coming out, because a lot of comedy requires improv. Right. It affects everything. It affects everything we see in Hollywood. I mean, I would dare say writers, that also includes video games. I mean, you need writers for video games that are part of the union. So that's another big effect, which is the reason why it's going to affect us as well a lot, because, you know, we work on video games, we work on animation, we work on different things like that. So it's whew, all these delays for all these different films. It makes sense to, you know, push back and stuff because we want the best of the best. It's a shame we've got some movies that are already trying to film because they're on a schedule. They got a budget, they got to get going, because if they keep waiting longer and longer periods of time, they owe more money. But you know, this movie was supposed to come out, I think, when was it? I think in 2024, right? For this Blade movie.
Blade.
But now the release date for the Blade movie has been replaced by Beetlejuice 2, my dude. You got one B, now you got a different B. Beetlejuice 2 adds Monica Bellucci as Beetlejuice's bride. Did you like that segue, Raul? That was good. Unless you had something else you wanted to add.
No, I mean, we're going to continue, right? There's more topics we're going to continue talking about the writers.
Oh, yeah. This is another big conversation about the writer strike.
Yeah.
This comes to us from Collider. Monica Bellucci, currently on screen in the comedy Mafia Mama, is in negotiations to join the cast of bold-faced names in Beetlejuice 2. Warner Bros. Is in full-on casting mode as the feature goes before cameras this month, with Tim Burton, who directed the original movie that was released in 1988, back in the director's chair. Jenna Ortega is leading the cast, with Michael Keaton reprising his role as the obnoxious ghost. Winona Ryder is also back, playing Ortega's mother. Catherine O'Hara is also among the returnees, while Justin Theroux is a newcomer to the proceedings. While plot details are being kept in the coffin, I see what they did there. It is known that Bellucci will play Beetlejuice's wife. Warner's announced on Tuesday that the feature will be released September 6, 2024, taking over the date from Marvel's Blade, which was last week shut down pre-production due to the writer's strike. Producing Beetlejuice 2 are Burton and Brad Pitt's Plan B, among others. Al Gu and Miles Miller, the creators of the Ortega-starring Wednesday Netflix series, wrote the screenplay. Bellucci is known internationally for her Italian and French movies, such as Malena and Brotherhood of the Wolf. Stateside, she has appeared in productions ranging from the Matrix movies to The Passion of the Christ to James Bond movie Spectre. She's currently appearing opposite Toni Collette in Bleecker Street's Mafia Mama. That's a lot of information. Thank you for letting me word vomit all over you guys. Yeah, I mean, listen, maybe I'll make this short for myself. I barely know who Monica Bellucci is. I just know that it's interesting to see that Beetlejuice is going to have a wife, and the fact that she's coming from a place of comedy is really nice to hear. It makes me feel more confident that, you know, Tim Burton knows what he's doing. He knows who he wants for these roles. He's got a great team together, especially with Jenna Ortega and Michael Keaton. I mean, come on. The team from Wednesday is also helping to write this screenplay.
I've just started watching Wednesday, by the way. I'm almost done with the first season. It is great. I am so good, thoroughly enjoying it.
So good.
So this excites me.
Yeah, like I think the more and more you watch that show, the more and more you're going to be excited about this. I mean, listen, it'll be great. I think it'll be good. I kind of want to watch Mafia Mama now because that sounds really funny. I'd be totally interested to see what they come up with. But Raul, what are your thoughts on this? Any thoughts on that?
Monica Bellucci was actually one of my earliest crushes on when I was a kid watching The Matrix Reloaded. Boy, did I have a crush on Monica Bellucci. But no, she's fantastic. I loved her in she was great in the Matrix films, but yeah, I haven't seen her in much anything else except for that and the oh my god, why am I drawing a blank? The Spectre. Which I really enjoyed her in Spectre. Spectre, the movie itself was fine, but I really enjoyed her in Spectre. So this will be interesting, yeah. And it looks like she's dabbled in some comedy. She's done some comedy with this Mafia Mama movie with Toni Collette. Yeah, and I think that's good. You need to bring in some kind of comedy element to this. I mean, everybody, this is Beetlejuice, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited. At first I wasn't sure how to feel about Beetlejuice 2, but I like the casting of Monica Bellucci. I like that they're bringing everybody back. Catherine O'Hara even.
Yeah.
You know, They're Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara. I love that they're bringing in Jenna Ortega. But then hearing this, that it's the same team who wrote Wednesday, who worked on Wednesday, and I'm now watching Wednesday, and I'm thoroughly loving it. I am now even more excited about Beetlejuice 2.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason. It all happens at the perfect moment, you know?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I haven't seen Beetlejuice in years. I think I was like 10 or 9 when it came out.
Ooh, Luisa and I watch it every year at Halloween time. Like this, that's like, there are a few movies that like we have to watch every year around the month of October. Beetlejuice is one of them. We watch it every year. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that's definitely I might put it on my list of rewatch because I want to be able to, like, you know, I just rewatched Batman 1 and or watched Batman 1 and 2 for the first time with Michael Keaton with Raul because I hadn't seen it, and we're gonna watch The Flash next month, so
right.
You know, I got to make sure I know who Michael Keaton's Batman is before anything else. But now I'm probably gonna do the same thing with Beetlejuice because that'll be a nice little way to kind of segue yourself into it. And oh man, it's gonna be crazy seeing how old Michael Keaton's gotten since the first movie. Because
he'll be under makeup.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe he'll look exactly the same. Who knows?
I think Beetlejuice was when Keaton, Tim Burton, and Danny Elfman, all of them together, they were all firing on all cylinders with Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
if you can't tell, Beetlejuice is I'm in love with that movie. It's one of my favorite movies.
Was Beetlejuice before or after the Michael Keaton Batman movie? The first one.
Beetlejuice was before. It was the year before.
Wow. So he got to work on Beetlejuice, and then
88. Beetlejuice came out in 88, and then Batman in 89.
So oh man, I'm just thinking like Tim Burton watched this guy play Beetlejuice and go, yeah, let's go, and he goes, that'd be a great Batman.
Hey, how you doing?
That guy would be incredible as Batman. Let's get him in.
Yeah, and a lot of people were actually pretty shocked to hear about Michael Keaton's casting as Batman at the beginning because he was known at that point he was a comedian. He was a stand-up comic. He did comedy films, and a lot of people were going, what, Mr. Mom? The guy from Mr. Mom is going to be Batman? But yeah, and then, you know, the rest, as they say, is history because he sure showed everybody that he can play Batman.
Also, may I just add, I just saw a trailer for the RoboCop movie of 2014 last night, and I forgot that Michael Keaton was in that movie. And
yes,
it's just stuff like that where you're like, man, you almost forget how much of an incredible actor Michael Keaton is. And then you realize he's almost everywhere. And everywhere you look, people want to hire him to be in these movies. Because
you forget how much he's done. And then if you actually really take the time and go through his IMDb, you're like, oh yeah, he was in that. Oh shit, yeah, he was in that too. Yeah, he's done so much work. Anyway, Beetlejuice 2. I'm excited for this.
It'll be great.
I think, just the Monica Bellucci casting, and then all this other information that has come out with it about the crew and from Wednesday and all that stuff. I'm excited for it.
I just trust it wholeheartedly because I know it's Tim Burton coming back to, you know, work on his baby. You know, like it's not like some fan that became a director came back and is like, I want to do my take on it. Like Tim Burton himself is like, no, I'm back in. Here's the story I want to tell now. Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's go. Michael Keaton's in. Jenna Ortega's in. Everybody's in. Let's go.
Right.
Everybody's here. Super Smash Brothers, baby. But, you know, it's going to get real freaky. We're laughing because I'm terrible at segues. Because speaking of freaky, Freaky Friday sequels, we got a sequel as well here. Freaky Friday 2 with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. This comes to us from The Hollywood Reporter. Disney is going back to the world of Freaky Friday. A sequel is in the works to the 2003 body swap comedy that starred Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis, The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. Lohan and Curtis are expected to reprise their roles as a mother and daughter who will wake up one Friday and find they have swapped bodies. Elise Hollander is penning the script to the sequel. Freaky Friday was based on Mary Rodgers' 1972 novel and grossed $160 million globally, directed by Mark Water from a script by Heather Hawk and Leslie. Dixon has remained a cultural touchstone, and Curtis referencing it during public appearances over the years. It has become synonymous with the body-swapping genre, spawning homages such as the Blumhouse horror film Freaky. Curtis told the New York Times in a retrospective on the 2003 film that she continued to get questions about a Freaky Friday sequel while promoting her 2022 horror film Halloween Ends. She says, "Something really touched a chord. When I came back, I called my friends at Disney and said, 'It feels like there's a movie to be made,'" said Curtis. The potential Freaky Friday sequel would mark a return to studio filmmaking for Lohan, who in the 2000s was among the bigger young stars of the era. In recent years, she has been making something of a career comeback with a 2-picture deal at Netflix that included the rom-com Falling for Christmas. Said Lohan to the Times of a potential sequel, "Jamie and I are both open to that, so we're leaving it to the hands that be. We would only make something that people would absolutely adore." That I'm a big fan of. Make movies that you know fans would love, that it's fun to see. You can tell though that this is kind of a nostalgia grab as well, because
Yeah.
the movie was great as a kid. You grew up with Freaky Friday, and I'll always remember Jamie Lee Curtis going, "Oh my God, I'm like the Crypt Keeper," and just screaming stuff like that.
That's a good Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, thank you. I also remember just her saying, "Why am I in Anna's room?" When they first wake up. That, and you got to call out all the songs that came out of Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan. The on and on and on and on. Don't wanna wake up. Don't wanna. Hey, take me away. I could go on for days, but you know what I mean. There's so many songs. You're in.
All right,
You're
that's
the
enough.
ultimate.
That's
I
enough.
mean, dude, like those songs were classics.
Ooh.
I got you. I got you. But no, it's to me it brings back that nostalgia, and I am totally for it. But Raul, how about you? What do you think about a Freaky Friday 2? Do you
Kevin,
think it would work?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked because who is wanting this movie? I'm sorry. I don't look.
That deserves a boo.
maybe I'm a little bit older because Freaky Friday was like, I don't know. I think I was a little bit older for the demographic that Freaky Friday was going for, but I saw it like once, and I thought it was fine. It's just one of those family comedies based
Just
on
a family comedy.
Yeah. I thought it was fun, but it's not something. I'm not trying to be mean. Is this something that people were genuinely asking for? I mean that completely sincerely. Like,
all right, I will answer that sincerely.
Okay.
I genuinely did not ask for a Freaky Friday 2. However,
but have you heard people talking about? I haven't heard anybody. Yeah, go ahead.
To me, it feels like it's not the thing you wanted; it's the thing you didn't know you needed.
Okay, well,
think about that, Raul. Think about that.
I mean, we'll see. I haven't seen the first one in years.
Years. Okay.
Not in a long time.
Don't scare me like that.
Maybe once, maybe twice, probably once.
It's definitely a kid's movie. I feel like you had to have grown up with it. I think this movie would gain the same traction that what's it called? The three sisters from Halloween, the witches.
Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
The same number, the same type of attention Hocus Pocus got, I think, is the same thing that Freaky Friday 2 would get. Which, if I recall, I think Hocus Pocus 2 did really, really well with their viewership during October when it came out. Maybe. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, like everybody wanted to watch it, and
I assume so.
But I think it's going to be one of those things where it'll skyrocket in viewership when it comes out, and then immediately just drop right back down, and then nobody's going to watch it anymore. But like that's like the sad thing about like growing up with streaming services, dude. Like, when we were kids, we had Disney Channel and Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon playing and running all the time, and as kids, our parents had cable, so we could just turn on the TV and they would be on reruns. We would constantly rewatch these movies. Whereas nowadays we've got Netflix and streaming services like that where you click and then the movie's over and then you have to scroll around and see what else you want to watch. You're not being forced to watch anything anymore. We constantly watched Freaky Friday growing up, or at least I did, because that's the thing they would always put on reruns on the Disney Channel. And I don't know, I feel like that kind of viewership is so different now in this day and age. I don't know how kids nowadays would watch these things, But I have a feeling that that's kind of what's going to happen. It's going to skyrocket in viewership and then dip right back down.
We'll see. I mean, they sound like they're both really eager to make it. I think I believe Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are friends in real life.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think they are. I think they're friends in real life. So that's cool that they both like they like each other as friends, so they enjoy each other's company, so they enjoy working with each other, and that, you know, them coming back to do Freaky Friday 2, they would have great chemistry, obviously, because they are two people who enjoy working with one another. So
yeah,
that will show. That should show in the acting and the performances. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll get a first trailer for Freaky Friday 2, and I might end up going, you know what? Maybe I'll take a second look at that first Freaky Friday movie. Maybe check it out. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I think we'll have to wait for a
right now.
Yeah,
Huh?
like for me on my end, like I'm excited to hear that they're making a sequel, but also I don't know what the heck they're gonna do. Like they're just gonna swap bodies again, but now Lindsay Lohan's gonna be a mother, and then her mom's gonna be a grandmother, and she's retired.
I'm telling you right now, they're gonna call it Freaky-er Friday. I'm telling you.
Freaky-er Friday?
That you just know they're going to do that. That's just, you can predict these things.
Or Freaky Friday, back at it again. Freaky Friday, Tokyo
I think they would
Drift.
just say Freaky-er Friday. Freaky-er Friday.
Freakiest Friday will be the third movie.
Yes.
Freakier and freakiest.
That's how these guys come up with titles to these kinds of movies.
I don't know, man. That gives me a very Dumb and Dumber.
That's exactly what I was thinking, was Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, it's so dumb. So dumb. Okay. Well, listen, I think it'll be great. I mean, we'll see. We'll wait for the trailers. But you know what's great when you get to see trailers is before you get to see the trailer, you get to go get food at the movie stand and all right, there's no way to segue out of this. The next topic here is AMC. AMC to start replacing traditional candy with their own brand of candy. This comes to us from Deadline. AMC Entertainment CEO Adam Aron said the giant movie theater chain will start making its own candy line that will be cheaper for patrons and for the company, given price hike by sweets manufacturers post-COVID. We noticed as a result of the pandemic and supply chain shortages that candy manufacturers had increased their prices to us by a huge amount, some by over 30%. That got us thinking very hard about our candy, and we realized that we could manufacture a private label brand of candy to very high quality standards, price it less expensively than our current candy is priced, and have a higher profit margin. Aaron said on a call today after strong quarterly earnings. The company recently rolled out its new AMC Perfectly Popcorn brand at over 2,000 Walmart stores. I'm totally going to go to Walmart later and get some AMC popcorn. I don't know. That's kind of convinced me to get some.
I've already seen it in the stores.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've already seen it walking around the stores.
I think it's time. You too, listeners. Let's go to Walmart and get some AMC popcorn and tell us what you think at realgeeknews@gmail.com.
How different can it be from all the other popcorn that they have out there?
Probably not that different, but you know. Hey, listen, realistically speaking, if you actually want some popcorn that's super cheap and buttered and tastes great, go to the dollar store. The dollar store sells dollar worths of popcorn that's like a big old bag the size of 2 heads, 3 heads of Kevin, and my head's enormous. So, you know, that's for $1.
You do have a big head, Kevin.
Thank you. Okay, I wish I had the cheering button. I don't have my cheering button today. I'll just give you this. Thank you so much. Very big head. But no, so yeah, what do you think of this AMC stuff, Raul?
I don't know. It's candy.
It's just candy. They're trying to be Willy Wonka up in here.
I know. What's wrong with me today? I don't know. I need to eat something. I don't know. Do I sound like a cranky old man today?
No, but your eyes are like blinking and like out of sync.
yeah. It's from staring at a computer all day. But
give me an Ed and Eddie blink right now.
Yeah. No. But no. I mean, I don't know. Are they gonna? So they said they're gonna introduce their own candy, but are they gonna remove like the brand candy that they offer? Are they gonna discontinue? What are they doing?
That's a great question.
Gonna offer like M&Ms and Snickers or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, none of that hasn't been confirmed that they'd get rid of everybody else's candy, but like, I mean, listen, those companies are probably going to want to pay extra money if they want to keep their candy there. And it's like that's if you don't like if I'm M&M's and I suddenly am being told by AMC that my candy will no longer be sold at their stores, then that means I'm going to lose so much money because there's thousands of AMC theaters in the country, around the world. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. That if you don't have your profits coming in from that, that opportunity, that's bad. So you're obviously going to want to have a spot or a place for your candy. But I think that also means that there's going to be less space for candy to be put in there, so half the candy stand is going to be AMC stuff, and then the other half's going to be the rest of what they've been selling.
So they are keeping the brand candy then?
Assuming that they do. Okay. It sounds like, they would just they would not make as much money because they wouldn't be able to put as much candy up there. That's definitely a problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. As long as they still have, I don't know, as long as they still have like the option, if I wanted some Skittles and if I could have the option for some Skittles still, I might try some of this AMC candy. And if I don't like it, then as long as I still have my Skittles to go back to.
But they're going to do like a very, Aldi type of thing where they'll show you the real thing, like they'll show you the Fruit Loops, and then they show you the off-brand Fruit Loops that's made by that store, and they always show you the prices right next to each other. So you go, oh, well, that one's cheaper, so I'm gonna just get that one.
Yeah, but does it taste as good?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
None of this matters anyway because listen, guys, if you want candy at the theater, just do what everybody else does. Go buy it at the store and then smuggle it in. That's what you should do.
Go to the dollar store, right?
That's what you do.
Smuggle your popcorn, your big three Kevin-headed popcorn.
That's a little
bag.
harder. That big bag of popcorn is a little harder to smuggle in than You
can do it if
Reese's
you bring
cups.
All you need is a sponge and a goat. Don't ask. All right. But no.
What? What?
Yeah, I said don't ask. You're asking. Why are you doing that? You broke the rule. The one rule I gave you. But no, that's true. I mean, that's we just gotta wait and see how the candy tastes. Listen, if
that's where I come down on it. But go ahead.
If the candy tastes exactly the same, then look at that. You just got a new customer, and I'm gonna start buying the cheaper one, obviously, right? But that also means AMC is going to be making even more profit because, dude, AMC's profits come from food stands. Right, they don't come from the ticket sales. The ticket sales, they have to make deals to give way more cuts of their money to those movie companies.
Yeah, the ticket sales are a small percentage of what the theaters mostly make overall. Yeah, they're
if
really
you ask me,
this
is a smart move, I think, but from AMC.
Sure, like save money.
It'll have some consequences with their relationship with these other candy companies, but
That's true.
Hey man, it's like if I invited somebody over to keep hanging out in my apartment and sell, I don't know, t-shirts. But now it's like, well, I get a cut, right? But now I can just make my own t-shirt. I'm just describing what's happening in this article. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's AMC's candy now. Now all the profit goes to them. It doesn't go to the other company. Well, I think that's genius.
I'd like to think that AMC is smart enough to know not to just right off the bat go, all right, we're putting up all the AMC candy and we're getting rid of all this stuff. We're, to maybe do it gradually and just test the waters, see how people like it.
Yeah.
Before throwing your eggs all in one basket and,
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see. I don't know. I can always find the candy that I want. No matter what.
But they can't sell candy if there's no writers for their movies that give them good movies to go to the movie theaters for to buy candy.
This is true.
Which brings me to our next topic. Rings of Power Season 2 to finish shooting without writers or showrunners.
Good luck.
Let me be clear. This article came out in the beginning of May, so currently they're done. They're already done shooting for this series right now.
Here we go, 2. YouTube commenters. Here they come.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are so late. Yeah. Old news. Also, fun fact, I've put all the more recent news articles in the beginning of our episode, so as the episodes go by, you're going to hear older and older news. So if you're getting bored by the second half of this show, it's because you already knew this news by the second half, blah, 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 blah. But hey, you're here because you don't listen to the news very often, and you need someone like us, two nerdy Puerto Rican boys, telling you what's up in Hollywood.
That's right.
So Here's the article from Rings of Power Season 2. Lord of the Rings Rings of Power is the latest marquee TV series to move forward with production and the ongoing WGA strike, but the Amazon Prime Video show will be doing so without the services of executive producers J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay. The sweeping fantasy series has 19 days of filming remaining. It's already done. Sources confirmed to Variety. But per WGA strike rules, Payne, McKay, and any other writer-producers are barred from participating in any writing-based duties during production while the strike continues, including making creative decisions on set. Instead, the show's non-writing executive producers, like Lindsay Weber, directors Charlotte Brandstrom and Sana Hamry and Louise Hooper, crew are overseeing production on the UK-based shoot. According to a source close to the production, there have been multiple units filming on the Rings of Power, including night shoots, for much of the duration of the season given its feature film level scope. Payne and McKay also planned in advance with the production team for a possible writer's strike to make their absence from the show as seamless as possible. The pressure on all current film and TV productions during the writer's strike is compounded by the looming June 30th contract deadline for SAG-AFTRA and the DGA. If those guilds and the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers fail to reach a new contract agreement by that date, actors and directors could join the writer's strike, leading to an even more drastic industry-wide shutdown. So there's the confirmation, June 30th. If nothing gets resolved for the writers by June 30th, actors and directors will also be joining this strike for their own work. Which, hey, that's a big old no-no if you guys want to fix that. Come on, producers and company people, let's do that. Well, listen, this article, Raul, the main thing that I got out of this was that Payne and McKay also planned in advance with the production team for a possible writer strike. There's a little bit of skepticism from that quote, just because it makes me think like, okay, so are you guys just saying that so that us as the fans can just be like, oh, okay, thank God. Oh my God, it's fine. They're going to be fine. Or did they actually prepare for a writer's strike just in case? And how would they have known that this was going to happen?
Also, well, I mean, there was writing on the wall before the strike happened. That everybody was talking about striking. The strike didn't actually happen yet. So there would have been time to plan, to make appropriate plans. Now, what bothers me, though, is that if you're planning ahead of time, wait, who was involved with the planning? The writers?
It's all the runners, the showrunners of the show.
The showrunners. So the showrunners planned ahead of time with the writers?
Because the showrunners are also writers, so they can't be a part of this anymore.
Okay. I don't know. This is a little weird to me because if they planned this ahead of time, doesn't that kind of, I don't know, doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of the principle of striking?
I mean,
I don't know. Maybe this sounds like a separate conversation that can be.
Well, that's the thing, right?
It's picked apart later on. I'm trying to think about it in my own head, and I actually don't know the answer.
Well, it's like it's a supposedly they planned ahead just in case. So it's almost like James Gunn. James Gunn finished writing Superman Legacy before the strike happened. Did James Gunn know that the strike was going to happen? I don't know, maybe, but it was done before it was a problem, you know?
Right.
So Payne and McKay, they had this already planned out in case, you know, that was to happen. Which, hey, good for them if that is the case. But if that's their way of lying so that they can kind of get away with still doing writing stuff, then, you know.
We don't know for sure.
Listen, Raul, I'm just at a point where
we're just speculating here if they were being truthful or not. Just want to put that out there. Go ahead, Kevin.
Maybe I'm a little pessimistic, but I don't believe that everybody in Hollywood that's got these higher positions are really going to just not write things. Like, I don't believe Ryan Reynolds won't improv. I don't believe these guys probably planned for this to, you know, oh, it's okay, we know how to handle it. Like, sure. I don't know. I've got a pessimistic point of view because I just, these projects are so big, and if they really wanted to, like, their names are going to be on these projects.
These are risky moves for projects like this.
So it's just a matter of, like, you know, is everything going to be okay? I mean, listen, I'm also going to say Rings of Power season 1. I actually really liked season 1 of Rings of Power. I know this is, I know because you and a few others we've hung out with and spoken about, like, haven't been the biggest fans of Rings of Power because it's not really How would you say it? How would you say it?
We
Raul?
still haven't seen it.
What?
No, man, because look, and then after a while, the show kept going on, and everybody was like, "Yeah, it's not good. It's not good." And I'm like, "Well, I'm in no rush to see it now. I will see it eventually, but I'm definitely not in any rush to see it now.
All right. Okay. Well, then
Especially
listen.
if I know a lot of people didn't like it.
I could have sworn you had told me that you'd seen it and not liked it, but I guess maybe I'm just thinking about Chad. Chad did not like it.
Could have been Chad.
Chad was not a fan. But no, you know what? Okay, then I'll say this. You and I have very similar tastes in these types of things, except for, the black and white stuff from like the 60s and 50s, as we've discussed. But most of the time when you and I go into a new thing, we end up liking it. It's not a bad thing. You appreciate it for what it is, and then you try to move on, but you're not going to watch it again, probably. I don't know. I would watch Rings of Power again. That's kind of where I'm at. I think you might feel the same way, Sure, it's got its ups and downs, but like it's an enjoyable piece of content. And now that it's all out and you can just binge the whole season, I think it's even more enjoyable. So, that's how I feel about that.
Well, they seem very committed to continuing with a season 2. I mean, didn't they have 5 seasons written?
Yeah.
Already?
Well, they've got 5 seasons planned out already. So not sure if they're all written out already, but they know where every character's supposed to go story-wise.
Right. Specifically planned. I remember we reported on the article, and didn't they say it was like supposedly they had planned like the final shot of the show?
Oh yeah, like they know what the final shot's going to be already. Yeah. Like they've got that in mind already. Interesting. Like, okay, cool. That's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I mean, hey, I trust that season 2 will be just as good, or maybe better. I don't know. I'm being hopeful. Okay. I want it to be a good season, and it's Lord of the Rings, man. Like, I'm not one of those people that read all the books and went into all the deep lore. I just read enough lore that I could at least understand what's happening in season 1 of this show, and hey, I feel good about it. It feels fun, But any last thoughts on this one, Raul?
No, yeah. I mean, we'll see if the writer's strike has in fact had an effect on this production or not. Time will tell. So,
all right then. Let's everybody wants to kick this show's butt, but you know who else is kicking butt? It is Karl Urban, who is joining Mortal Kombat 2 as Johnny Cage. This comes to us from The Wrap. Karl Urban is in final talks to star as fan-favorite character Johnny Cage in the sequel to New Line's hit 2021 action adventure Mortal Kombat, based on the blockbuster video game franchise. Simon McCoy, who directed the 2021 film, is set to return. Jeremy Slater, Moon Knight, and the Umbrella Academy wrote the screenplay for the sequel. It goes on to say, in the Mortal Kombat series, Cage is one of the primary heroes defending Earthrealm from various threats, and he's known for his signature moves and fatalities. In later installments of the series, Cage's role is passed down to his daughter, Cassie Cage. Mortal Kombat 2 will be produced by Atomic Monsters' James Wan, Broken Road Productions' Todd Garner, Simon McCoy, and E. Bennett Walsh. What are your thoughts on this, Raul?
Karl Urban. I love Karl Urban. I think he's obviously he's great in Lord of the Rings, Dredd, The Boys.
The Boys.
I even liked him as Bones in the Star Trek movies, in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies. I really enjoy this announcement. Is he a little too old, though? That's
great question.
That's what I'm wondering, because he's been around for a while. Because it sounds like everybody else, at least the cast from the first movie, everybody's a little bit younger, like 20s, 30s.
Karl Urban is 50.
50. Okay. So he's a little bit older than a lot of the actors from the first movie. So I don't know.
I just feel Mahershala Ali sweating right now. Like, okay, if he does it right now, then maybe I can do it too.
Yeah. He's
latest right around the corner. I'm gonna be 50.
Waiting to see if Karl Urban takes on this job. Yeah. I feel like a younger Karl Urban for sure, but that's the thing. He's 50 now, and not that he can't do action like this, but as far as like, if you look at the other characters, the rest of the cast, they're all on the younger side. So he would be like one of the few, if only, actor playing a character in this movie that's like, 50.
They'll do like the Irishman approach, and they'll just de-age him and get rid of all his wrinkles. But I don't know. First of all, I agree with your point of view. Like, I think maybe it should be someone younger, but
like,
also,
I still think he can kick ass.
Yeah, he could. I mean, Billy Butcher, he does really well with action sequences.
Yeah, that I have no doubt about.
Plus, like, marketing wise, that's a pretty big name to attach to Mortal Kombat 2. That's who doesn't like Karl Urban. I'll always remember him as the guy from Thor Ragnarok who goes, "These are my two swords, or they're my two guns, Des and Troy. When you put them together, they destroy." Like, it's genius, man. He's awesome. But yeah, no, what you said earlier. He's in Lord of the Rings. He's in The Boys. He's got Thor Ragnarok. He's done so many different types of films, and the guy's a chameleon. And that's the thing for me is, like, when I first heard that this guy got announced, I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know. But then I remembered all those roles he's played, and you would not recognize him if you saw him in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
When you do, you're like, oh my God, that's Karl Urban. What the hell? Judge Dredd. I almost forgot about Judge Dredd. He was great in that.
Dredd, yeah. That movie was fantastic, and he was really good in that movie too.
Oh man, so cool.
Yeah, I just assumed if all the other characters we met in the first movie are all in their like 20s, 30s, I just assumed Johnny Cage would also be around the same age. So it's just making me. It gives me a little pause, like hearing that it's going to be Karl Urban stepping in to play Johnny Cage. But I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be bad. I'm just, it could very well make sense within the context of the movie once we see it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Agreed.
I love Karl Urban. I don't, he can do it. He can kick some ass as Johnny Cage. I was just a little surprised at his casting, considering his age compared to the rest of the cast.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, the perfect casting in my head was always Bradley Cooper for some reason, because I can just picture him
for Johnny Cage. Really?
Yeah. Like, imagine if he had like the same vibe that he has in the movie Limitless. And then he just put on sunglasses. He's Johnny Cage, But then again, I'm also a guy that has barely played Mortal Kombat, so like, maybe what do I know about the perfect casting? Nathan Fillion would have been pretty cool as well, actually, now that I think about it. But he's also in his 50s.
He's also around the same age. Yeah.
He would have been great. But I think Karl Urban brings a more grotesque violence.
He's
to
way
this
edgier.
movie.
Especially now that we've come to associate him with The Boys as Billy the Butcher.
Like, now it's a no-brainer. Like, it makes sense that he would be the guy.
Right.
Like, he works for that. Right. Is he the thing I wanted? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
He's a great actor, though.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic guy. I think he's going to do a great job.
Yeah. Damn, I kind of want to watch Dredd again. I really want to watch Dredd.
Well, it holds up.
Yeah.
It's very good. It holds up.
And like, that was a Sylvester Stallone movie originally. Like, even Sylvester Stallone was like,
well, that one.
Hey, you did a great job. That was a really good movie. But I'm still the law. I just want you to know that you think you're the new guy in town. You're not the new guy. I'm still the guy. I'm the law.
I approve of your movie, but I don't know why you didn't ask me to do it. All right, whatever.
You didn't ask me. First you, and now Michael B. Jordan.
Oh.
Nobody's asking me permission.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Well, Karl Urban, if you're listening, and we know you are, good luck, my dude. Break a leg. Also, I'm just excited to see Mortal Kombat 2, so I think it'll be a fun movie.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, they got to keep using that same song. Like, even if it's a remix, just give it to me. Give it to me all day. Great.
Yeah, I still love it. I'm glad they still used a version of that song.
Well then, Raul, with that all being said, we didn't make it to the end. We still got trailers to talk about. Trailers released this past month in May. We got the Dune Part 2 trailer. We got the Meg 2 trailer. We got the Across the Spider-Verse final trailer. And then we got the Flash final trailer. Any of these trailers that, popped out in your mind that you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the Meg 2.
Yes, let's do it.
That looks really crazy. The first Meg, have you seen the first Meg?
I haven't, and I really want to.
That's a fun one. And it's just, it's exactly what you would imagine it would be. Jason Statham fighting a giant shark. I mean,
of course.
Whatever you're imagining, yes, that's it. You're correct.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun. And this one, it's like even crazier. We're getting more creatures, and it's just like they've ramped up the ridiculousness, but in a way that it hasn't quite crossed that line yet of being too ridiculous. So the trailer at least looks super fun. It's a little more ridiculous, and it's like, okay, these guys know exactly the kind of movie they're making, and they're really leaning into it, and I am buying what they're selling. It looks like a lot of fun.
It makes me want to watch the first one now. Like, I'm totally down to go check it out. I forget when they said Meg 2 comes out.
Oh.
I will Google it. Meg 2.
Meg 2, yeah.
It comes out on August 4th, this August.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm totally going to go watch it. It'll be great.
Not too far ways off.
But yeah, I think you're right. It's just, it feels campy and like cartoony, but like in a fun way. They're totally leaning into that. And that definitely makes me want to watch the first movie now. I want to bring up Dune Part 2 because I thought it was lame. I thought Dune Part 2 was so lame, the trailer. But to be fair, I might be biased because I also just wasn't a fan of the first Dune movie. I think the VFX was incredible, the acting incredible, but I felt like I was watching one giant prologue. It was just a giant prologue, and then it finally starts when you finally get to see freaking Zendaya at the end of the movie. You're like, okay, here we go. The story's gonna start for real now. Nope, end credits. What the heck is this?
Because they want you to come back for Doom Part 2. That's why.
Oh,
that's how they got you hooked. Like, you want the rest of the story? Nuh-uh. That's just a little taste. You gotta come back for the rest of it.
And you know what? The director's French, and it makes me think of this. I don't know if you knew about this, but if you go to Paris, or if you go to France, which I have been to Paris before, I'm a very fancy, distinguished gentleman now. In Paris, France, apparently when you go to restaurants, they sit you down, and you don't get a waiter to come up to you to ask you for what food you want for like the first hour or two, because they assume that you just want to sit down and talk with your friend for a little bit before you eat food.
That's Europe. That's in a lot of places in Europe. The mindset there is, if they want something, they'll ask me. Right.
And that's what I felt when I sat down and tried to watch Dune 1. Like, I was waiting for the main course, and I go, what the hell's going on? Where's the waiter? Like, I'm not getting my food. Like, what's happening here? And then the movie just ended, and I was like, waiter, what is going on? Like, give me food.
Where is my food, please?
Oh man, it was so frustrating. Like, I maybe I'm just spoiled because I'm an American and we just get our food now. We get, there was a Taco Bell Express. Like, how fast do you want your Taco Bell? Jesus, I want it in 5 seconds. Give me a taco. Boom, it's in your hand. Whoa.
Taco Bell Express.
That's like the on crack one where they just throw it into your window. They drive to you. But no, I guess, yeah. But Denis Villeneuve, that's his name. He is the director for this Dune series franchise right now. And he just wanted to take his time with that first movie. And I was just not really for it. I was for the VFX, but I was not for the giant prologue that was 2.5 hours long. But yeah, then I saw the trailer for this movie, and I thought, Jesus Christ, it's like he doesn't want to tell me anything again. Like, is the prologue not over? Like, come on, give me something, man. Give me something, bro. But I think it'll have something.
I did like Dune, but I don't know. I guess for me, just going into the first Dune, I went into it knowing this was going to be a sprawling epic, and not really expecting everything to feel 100% resolved by the end of the first movie, because they're telling a large epic story in multiple parts. So,
dude, this is the kind of movie that I'd like, you listeners, I would recommend don't watch Dune until the second part comes out, Or better yet,
they watch them both together.
wait until it's all out. When the third and final movie comes out, then do like a back-to-back watching marathon of the first two, and then go to the theaters the next day and watch the third movie. Like, man, it's just a lot to go through, you know? Anyways, let's talk about the fun stuff. Across the Spider-Verse looked awesome, as always.
I'm excited about that. I'm watching that on Saturday.
Ooh.
I'll be watching that on Saturday.
I'll be watching it on Sunday, so that'll be fun, man. Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to see it in an IMAX theater. It'll be great. But yeah, not really much else about that one. I saw the trailer, it looked hype, and I'm ready for it. And I've heard a lot of good things so far, so let's see where he goes, my dude. But then also we got the Flash final trailer, and there was a scene in this trailer where the Flash tells Batman, like, yeah, I can go back in time and save my parents. And hey, I can go back in time and save your parents. And then you get a look of Batman like, oh my God, that is so tempting. And that, I think, is the thing that really sold me. Like, I want to go watch this movie for sure. Like, if I wasn't sure before. Yeah, it's so fascinating.
I remember seeing that part in the trailer where he's like, I could save your parents. And it's interesting that you saw the look on his face and thought, ooh, that could be tempting for him. But for me, I saw the look on his face and I was thinking, like, I don't think he wants that. You know?
Well, that's the thing. Can
you imagine, like, you being Batman, living your whole life, fighting? I mean, it's his parents being dead has defined who he is.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you find out, like, you had the opportunity to change that? Batman is a little more seasoned than Barry is. You know, Barry's still young. So him wanting to bring his mother back so young still makes sense. Batman has lived his life. He's in his older years now, solidified. You know, he's made his choices. He has come to peace.
Yeah.
He's not always at peace with it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think we can meet halfway though, because when he first tells him that, like, I can save your dad or your parents, his face does have like a tempted, like, oh my God, that sounds like a really, wow, I can't believe you have that power. But then he says in the next part of that trailer, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah,
like it's
I'm
the
sure
temptation.
It's a struggle.
Yeah, it's the struggle. That's totally that's totally what I mean. Is he had that temptation of, oh my God, but then is like, let's get back to reality. Like, don't do that. That's a bad idea.
And I think that's awesome. If this ends up looking the way I think it is that Ben Affleck's Batman might have a little bit of a story arc here too. This just kind of indicates to me that Ben Affleck, him being there isn't just for the sake of him being there. We might get to see a little story arc with him having this conflict.
Yeah, I really hope so. And I think Ben Affleck himself has said this is like the best he's ever performed as Batman. And I'm like, man, and we only get like 5 to 10 minutes of him as Batman. That's so sad.
Yeah.
But that's it. Hopefully it's a good closure for this version of Batman, and Ben Affleck can move on. He was in a movie called Air that just came out last month with Matt Damon, and I just watched it before we started our episode today. It's a really good movie. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, it's incredible. It's really, really good. But
I was curious about it. I've heard I like the trailers.
It's so good. I thought it was fascinating. But yeah, I think that those were the trailers that were released this month. Are we good to move on to our next thing, Raul?
Yep.
Very good. We got our out this month movies. We had The Little Mermaid that came out at the end of the month. Fast 10. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. There's a movie called The Machine. Then there's 2 shows that just finished this month, Succession and Love and Death. Now, I know for me, I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, I finished Succession, and I finished Love and Death. All of which I thought were incredible movies. Guardians 3, if you have a family and you want to go watch that movie and you still haven't seen it yet, go watch the movie. And also, we have a review video up on that movie, so that when you're done watching it, come watch our review and take a listen and see what we thought about it. Spoiler alert, we thought it was awesome, but we'll dive right into it as we go through that episode. But Raul, how about you? What did you watch? What did you feel was awesome for you?
Well, in addition to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I actually last night went to go see Fast X.
Ooh.
Because full disclosure, the Fast and Furious franchise is a guilty pleasure of mine. I did rewatch, not all of them, but I rewatched some of the Fast and Furious movies leading up to Fast X because I actually had not seen Fast 9.
Oof.
I hadn't seen F9. I put it off because I had heard it was the worst one, and it is the worst one. It is really bad.
No.
But Fast 10, Fast X, still not great, but better than F9.
I heard Jason Momoa saves the movie.
Jason Momoa is a scene stealer in this movie. He is having the time of his life in this movie. And he does a great job. He does a great job as the villain. And it's great. You know, it's the same kind of crazy Fast and Furious action that you're used to seeing. They toned back a little bit. You can tell they toned back a little bit on the ridiculousness.
Wait, you mean this movie they didn't go to space and meet aliens?
No, they pulled a little bit back on that.
That was like the next go-to.
I know, right? The next thing would have been time travel.
Oh God,
it's all right. They still got one more movie. We'll see. We'll see if they bust that trick out of their
family. They go back in time.
They did rein in a little bit on the ridiculousness, that you saw in Fast 9, but the writing is still not great. The action is amazing. Very good action. Great fighting, great choreography and stuff. The car stuff. That's the thing about Fast and Furious is like, you see a lot of movies with hand-to-hand combat fighting and that kind of, I don't see a lot of movies nowadays with a lot of car stunts the way Fast and Furious does, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like we don't get enough car stunts in movies like that.
Do you think
Fast
it's still
and Furious
about...
seems to be the only front runner out there right now doing that kind of stuff with cars?
I was gonna say, like, I was just about to ask, do you think the movies are still about cars? Or I know the whole point of Fast 10 is like family, but like, you know, is it about cars more? Like, do they still do car things?
I mean, there are car things. There are lots of car things. The movies have become about just other things like taking down terrorists and whatnot, or like international kind of spy kind of, it's become from something that started off in the very first movie as like a ripoff of Point Break. It went from that to suddenly we're doing like international missions and spies and like, you know, terrorists, and it's with Vin Diesel and his crew taking on terrorists and spies and shit. It has gotten really nuts. But that has been part of the fun of it. And I rewatched 5 through 10. And 5, 6, 7 that's like the sweet spot of the franchise when they were really hitting on all cylinders, especially 5. 5 is my favorite. 5 is the best one of those.
That's what I've heard.
5 is the best one. So 5, 6, 7, I think that's a good sweet spot. From there on out, it gets a little crazy. So sorry, I'm rambling, but to sum up, I thought Fast 10 was fine. It wasn't as bad as F9. It was still fun. The action was good. There's a cameo, which I'm not going to go into it, but maybe in the future we'll talk about it. But it's a really interesting cameo.
Well, you want to hear something? I've never seen any of the Fast movies.
I know you haven't.
Yeah, don't you dare challenge me to watch all 10.
For your movie of the month challenge, should I say movies of the month? No. That'll be something if you want to do a Fast and Furious marathon, that'll be something we'll probably have to do in pieces at your own time, at your own pace.
Hey, can I also throw in The Little Mermaid, although I have not seen it. Every time I've seen clips of Halle Bailey singing as Ariel, I've gotten goosebumps. Like I've gotten chills because apparently from what I've heard from like the press, like she is earth-breaking. Like she's a celebrity. She's a star. Like she is going places. And not only that, but like there's a bunch of other performances in that movie that are really, really good. And I'm actually kind of interested because in my opinion, I don't think the Disney live action movies are that good. My favorite one is Aladdin, but that's not saying much because I barely remember the story except for the ending.
I was trying to see if I could carve out some time over the weekend to squeeze in Little Mermaid, but I just wasn't able to.
Same.
It's still so new. I had a hard time finding last minute seat reservations at my theater, but
I still want to go watch it at some point. Hey, if you want to go watch it together, we should go.
Well, we could do it. We can do it.
Yeah. But also, if you listeners are fans of like murder mystery stuff or like dramas and whatever, go watch Love and Death. It's on HBO Max, or now it's called Max. As we
That's right.
reported. And also, if you like political drama, go watch Succession, because it's about like businesses and politics and whatnot, and it's really interesting.
You like
Now-
political drama, Kevin?
I actually do. And now that I finished Succession, I'm like, what do I do now with my
All right.
life?
All
But
right.
I had someone just give me another recommendation for a new show I got to get into, and I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's something that's on Netflix. It's on my list, so I'll watch it when I get the chance. But at least I have a new show to watch now. I'm excited. It'll be great. Any last thoughts, Raul, before we move on?
No. Let's move on to our movie of the month.
Wahoo! All right, so we got Movie of the Month Challenge, a quick segment where we challenge each other to watch a movie we haven't seen yet. This episode's Movies of the Month were, for Raul, he had to watch The Menu. And for me, I had to watch RoboCop. So why don't we start with you, Raul, because you actually just watched The Menu right before we started recording.
I just finished watching it, and I really should have watched this a day or two in advance, because I think that's how much time my brain needs to process this movie that I watched. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. Fascinating movie. It's just, God, how does one even go on to describe what this movie is?
You don't.
You don't. It's just very, very well done. It's a very well done thriller. And it's got some elements of like dark humor in it. And it's got a little bit of everything. It's, and Ray Fiennes, holy shit. Ray Fiennes is top notch. I love watching Ray Fiennes in anything. I think I don't see him in enough stuff, or I don't know. I feel like he doesn't show up in enough movies. I feel like I need to see more Ray Fiennes.
The fact that that guy has not received an Oscar yet is insane to me.
You'd think he would for something. God, at least for oh God, Schindler's List way back.
Oh my
then.
God,
even then he was great in Schindler's List.
So good.
Yeah, no, he's great. Anya Taylor-Joy, I'm every time I see her in something, she's better and better every time. And Nicholas Hoult, I love Nicholas Hoult too, and I think he's very good at playing quirky. He does quirky very well.
Oh yeah. That's why I kind of laugh when I hear there's a rumor going around that they might want him as either Bruce Wayne or what's his face? The Superman's
Clark
enemy.
Kent? Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor. Yeah, Lex Luthor. Bruce Wayne or Lex Luthor. I'm like, I don't know about that.
You know what I was thinking when I was watching him in this movie just now? I was thinking he could be a good James Bond, I think. I can see him being a James Bond, a different kind of James Bond.
How old is he? I think he's like 35 or something,
He's
right?
on the younger side. Yeah, he's in his 30s.
Yeah.
I can see him playing a James Bond type. He just, gets a little, works out a little bit more, gets into that Hollywood shape. I can
33?
easily see him being, because he does have this charm, and he would be a different kind of James Bond than the ones we've seen before. And that's always happened, right? Anytime there's a new James Bond, it's always like the actor's different take on it. Anyway, I'm rambling on about James Bond. Back to The Menu. I really like this movie, and they did such a good job at ratcheting up the tension, and it's just really, it's hard to describe. It's just really trippy and weird and nuts and just really intriguing. I could not stop watching.
Yeah. By the end of the movie, did you want a cheeseburger?
I did want a cheeseburger. I really want. I want to go get one right now, actually, because after watching it, I came straight into the recording booth, and I started recording with you,
dude.
So
first thing I did as soon as I finished the movie is I went next door and I bought a cheeseburger. And I was like,
I want to buy the juiciest, biggest cheeseburger I can find right now. What's open? I don't know, but I'll find out.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. It was so wonderful. I really enjoy this movie. And it's very tense. And I really enjoy that kind of stuff. There's a lot of, it can be dark and it can be funny, especially with Nicholas Holt's character. He brings in a little bit of a lighter kind of funny kind of sensibility. But that's all I can say about it. It's really hard to kind of describe other than that.
Yeah, like without spoiling, I guess that is as much as you could say.
Yeah.
I will say the actress who plays the waitress, her name is Hong Chao Lee, or I'm sorry, Hong Chao. She was the chick from the Whale with Brendan Fraser. She was like the best friend that was always trying to keep him alive.
Okay. She was nominated for an Oscar, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think
For
so.
Best Supporting Actress?
I saw her for the first time in The Menu, and I was like, "Oh my god, what else can she do?" And then
She's
I saw
great.
her in The Whale, and I flipped because I just knew I flipped like a whale.
Oh, God.
Stupid Kevin. But no, like I remember seeing her in that, and I'm like,
Right.
man, just keep her coming, man. She's an incredible actress.
Yeah.
Anytime she showed up in The Menu, I just didn't know what to expect from her character. And she was so good at portraying whatever the heck that character's thinking.
Yeah.
Makes it very unnerving and very very tense, like you just said. It's super interesting movie.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts on The Menu though?
No, I really liked it. I thought it was great performances all around.
Cool. Well, then for me, I had RoboCop. Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
There you go.
Listen, I'm just gonna say it straight out. Worst movie I've ever seen in my life. No, I'm
God
kidding. I'm kidding. No, dude, actually the complete opposite.
Yeah.
This is honestly one of the more enjoyable movies I've seen in a long time.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Like, I loved RoboCop. I think this movie was incredible. And it's weird because I think of our buddy Chad, because Chad, this is one of his favorite movies, I think, as well.
Yeah,
And
this is right up his alley.
anytime there would be like a 1980s like cheesy line or moment, I just pictured Chad laughing. Or anytime I see someone's head getting blown off or people getting shot at, I see his face laughing because
Yeah.
he's like, "Isn't this great? This is a great movie. This is a
Yeah.
great sequence." And yeah, I mean, man, like whoever the writers, the directors, they just understood the pacing of this movie. They knew what this movie was, and they were ready to just go into it. And I really, really, really liked it. The only two things that I had that were like my only two complaints, I'll tell you this right now.
All right.
One, which again is not even a big deal, is the 1980s cheesiness. Like I get that that's also part of its charm, you know?
It's part of the gratuity of the movie. It's part of the satirical nature of it.
Yeah,
The
and
gratuitousness.
funny enough, I feel like it aged really well. Like the cheesiness is what makes the movie what it is.
Right,
Which
exactly.
I actually really appreciated. But like also I can't imagine people back in the 80s watching this and being like, this is true like cinema. Like, I mean, listen, it's not Scarface, but like it's some cool action-packed blockbuster, you know? I'm sure the people that made this movie didn't even know that this was going to be such a big hit, because then I got so excited about this movie that I Googled the second one and the third one, and I saw the ratings just plummeted.
No.
So now I'm like, oh man, like I want more RoboCop now, and I don't want to watch 2 and 3 or the new one that came out in 2014.
You said you saw that one though, right? You saw that one
I
already?
do. I had seen it, but I saw it in 2014, so it's been years. I barely
Yeah.
remember it. It's about to be the 10-year anniversary in next year in February.
Wow.
But it's kind of crazy to think that like that's how much of an impact the movie has had. But hey, we reported, I think last month or the month before that RoboCop is getting a reboot with Amazon Prime.
That's right, as a TV series, right?
Either TV series or a
Or a
movie.
movie.
I don't know which one they're choosing to do, but either way, whatever they choose to do, I'm in, boys. Like,
Yeah.
after seeing RoboCop, I always knew that RoboCop was a cool character, but now that I've seen the movie, I was like, "Whoa, this is so awesome!" Like this
And
is
there's so many quotable moments too.
oh yeah,
Bitches leave. You know,
yeah. Oh my god. Also, Red Foreman.
Red Foreman.
I can't believe he was the main bad guy. He did really well. He was a great villain.
I
He was
remember
so cool.
when I saw RoboCop for the first time, I had already seen that 70s show. And I'm like, it caught me off guard seeing Red being like this type of character, like this vile guy. I'm like,
Plus, he was
Red
like
Foreman?
It was also like a younger Red Foreman.
Younger,
So,
yeah,
like,
younger.
it's so weird because
Kurtwood Smith is the actor's name. Kurtwood Smith.
I look at Kirkwood Smith and I can't imagine him playing a guy in his late 20s, early 30s. And then I see this movie and I'm like, huh, it kind of works for me. Like
Yeah.
I see it now, and that's so strange. Has he always been bald? Like, what did he
just-
look like before he was
He was just
bald?
born. He was born like that.
Yeah, came out of the womb
Yeah.
bald, and then his hair on the side,
I'm glad.
angry face.
I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad it's one of those movies. It's very. It didn't quite fit in with its time. It seemed like it was ahead of its time, and it seemed like it went over a lot of people's heads because I don't remember hearing that it did very well in the box office when it came out. This is one of those movies that has for sure garnered a cult following since then. And it's one of those things you can look back on and appreciate it even more with hindsight and see what they were doing.
Yeah.
Well, and
also,
how they were satirizing, like, consumerism and all these different things.
oh man, that was another thing. Yeah, whenever you see the commercials in the middle of the movie, they had like 3 or 4 commercial breaks
Yeah.
in the movie that were kind of just being creepy about technology. How it's
I'd buy that for $1.
yeah, like oh my god, like it plays upon the whole the businessman perspective as well, and how like messed up we are about money and stuff like that. Oh my god, also the CEO was a total creep.
Yeah.
And there was the bathroom scene where I thought for sure he was gonna try to make out with the head honcho of the business that was the vice president, and I was like, are they trying to make it out that that's a bad thing? Like, I mean, oh my god, wait, I have so many thoughts. The
That's
RoboCop,
good.
the guys that killed him in the beginning of the movie, there was like an Asian guy, a black guy, a white guy, and then some other dude, and then our main Red Foreman character.
Yeah.
RoboCop, towards the end of the movie, in the final battle, when he finally gets he has a chance to shoot everybody in like 10 seconds, and the only one he shoots at is the black guy like 7 times. And I go, bro, police brutality, man. I'm telling you, that is just
That didn't
dead or
age very
alive.
well.
You're gonna be dead for sure. Like, oh, RoboCop, no.
Okay, but what did you think about
Oh my god. For those of you who don't know, Raul is speaking Spanish. But yeah, he that scene, there's a toxic waste, and some guy gets caught up in the toxic waste, and he turns into basically like a messed up golem. That was terrifying. And when some other dude saw
gave
him,
me nightmares as a kid.
oh man, it would have given me nightmares as well. That's for sure. That was great. I thought it was so satisfying seeing these people get killed and get what's coming to them. Oh man, and the guy who dropped the load of construction on RoboCop, and then he's like, "We did it, boss! We did it!" And then the cop buddy pal Claire shoots, and then boom, everything blows up. It was great.
Yeah.
Like, okay, here's the thing about this movie. The through line, in my opinion, is this is an awesome, badass Michael Bay explosion blockbuster that if you want to have a good time and sit down with some buddies and drink a beer with them, this is the movie to watch with them. It's awesome, super fun. The last complaint I had about it, though, was that it's a double-edged sword, right? The movie is this blockbuster, badass explosion with action hero, right? But at the same time, they completely wiped out the mom and the son and said they're not important anymore. Like, they had a scene where you see the flashbacks where he's like, "Oh, my family, what will I do?" And it's like, okay, well, now that you've had that realization, they can be gone now. Let's get back to action. Yeah, let's do this 80s action.
Yeah. They just gloss over it.
Yeah, so there was a part of me that was like, man, maybe don't end the movie within an hour and 45 minutes, or not even. I think it was like an hour 36 or something. The movie ended so abruptly.
Yeah.
Let me add, very badassly, but so abruptly at the same time that I would have wanted like an extra scene of closure of like maybe his wife got a hold of him or something, like send him a letter in the mail or something like that,
Yeah.
But like, no, they were like, no, this is an action film, and I want you coming out of the theater going, yeah, RoboCop. We don't want you coming out of the theater going, oh, that was nice. That was really fun. That was great. But like, yeah, maybe that's why in the 2014 movie. Sorry, I got so much to say about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
The 2014 movie, they added that into the movie. They were like, let's add the wife and the kid and keep them in the story.
Yeah,
because
make them the emotional center.
And I saw that movie first before the original one. So in my mind, I was like, oh, so that's what they're going to do in the original as well, right? Nope. Completely forgot about the mom and son.
Yeah.
They moved. They just leave because they think he's dead. That's so sad, man. And also the fact that it just made more sense that in the 2014 version, they would contact the family and say, hey, your husband, who's a police officer, just died. What do you want to do with blah, blah, blah? Can we do this to him as a company? Like, will you give us the signatures to okay this? And she has to be the one that confirms it. Yes, turn him into RoboCop. And then that heart of the story is them, yes, that's what I thought made more sense in the 80s movie, like in the 2014 movie.
Yeah.
So when they didn't do that, it made me realize the business corporate people were so cartoony, but it worked. It worked for what it was.
It worked.
Anyways, long story short, I loved it. It was an incredible movie.
I'm glad you did. I had a feeling you might like that one.
I'm super hyped for the RoboCop video game now because they're making a RoboCop game for the PlayStation
really?
5, and they're basing it off of the original movie. And so you get to play. I'll send you a video link later.
Okay.
You get to play as RoboCop from the 80s, and
interesting.
The camera, like, it's first person, and you walk like him, so like the camera bounces as you walk, like you are RoboCop, and all the screen special effects that they did in the original movie are in the game. Yeah, now I'm just hyped. I'm hyped for that movie.
Interesting.
All right, I've said my piece.
I'm glad you liked it. That's great.
Well then, Raul, we still have to challenge each other on our movies of the month, and I already have mine for you.
Do you now?
Yeah, I'm going to challenge you to watch Air by the end of the month.
Oh, okay.
Because I just watched it. I thought it was awesome, and I think you'd enjoy it as well. It is a very interesting. It's a drama, so stakes are high, but it's a lot more talking, but it's a good talking. Sure. It's great, and the cast is incredible. So for you, I
like talking movies.
You will very much enjoy this one, I think.
I think the one I'm going to give you is there's a lot of talking as well.
Oh boy, give it to me.
All right, so you said you liked political drama, political intrigue, and stuff like that. Yeah. I am going to give you. We're going to switch gears from Turbo Man. I was going to say Turbo Man from RoboCop, and I'm going to give you. Have you seen All the President's Men?
No.
I'm going to give you that one. Robert Redford, Dustin Hoffman. This is one of the movies that inspired the story of Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay.
So it's that kind of political drama, thriller, intrigue kind of thing that was an inspiration for Winter Soldier. So,
okay.
And I really enjoy this movie a lot. So curious to see what your thoughts are. All the President's Men.
All the President's Men. And you have Air.
Go get to it.
So Air. For all you listeners, we challenge you to see these movies as well. And, just know that if you don't watch these movies, we're just going to spoil them next month. So you might as well watch it. Go watch those movies. They'll be really fun. Hopefully you'll have as much fun as we do. But with that all being said, we made it to the end.
We did.
So thanks for listening, everybody. You can follow us on Instagram at Real Geek News. You can also follow our separate handles on Twitter and Insta at Kevin A. Rivera VO and Raul Ceballos VO.
That's right. And hey, listen, if you want to see us on YouTube, we're on YouTube as well. You can check out all our episodes. We post the monthly episodes, movie reviews. We post little clips. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell so you can keep track of anytime we put something new out. And also, please, if you want to help us out, please go on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, leave us a good review. It still helps the algorithm kind of shift us up, when you give good reviews. So that's still a good way for people to get noticed on iTunes.
Also, want to share your passionate thoughts and opinions about movies? Any movie reviews you'd like us to do? Well, then send us an email at realgeeknews@gmail.com. That's real, REEL, geeknews@gmail.com. We'll leave all the descriptions below. With that all being said, stay safe, stay classy, and most important of all,
stay geeky, my friends.